Okay, I wanna continue learning Mishpatim. I want to learn a few psukim I want to learn a Rashi in Mishpatim, to learn a couple of more psukim in Mishpatim. There's a mitzvah d'oraisa of Hashavas Aveda, and the pasuk says, Ki sifka, if you bump into shara ivecha, the shara of your enemy, oy chamayra, yours donkey taya, it's lost, hashev tishivenulai. You have a mitzvah d'oraisa to return Hashavas Aveda. You have a mitzvah d'oraisa, you find the shara of your enemy, yours chamar, hashev tishivenulai. You have the mitzvah d'oraisa of Hashavas Aveda. Then it says a pasuk we spoke about yesterday, but I want to talk about another nekuda. Kisira chamar sainacha. If you see the chamar of your enemy, roivetz tachas masai, collapsing under its load, the chadalta meyazev loi. What? You're not going to help him? Azav tazav imai. Very interesting. The word azav means to leave. Rashi learns azav tazav imai means azar. That azav is the same as azar. Help him. Onkelos says azav the sinner. Azav, leave the sinner, and tazav imai, and help him out. So if you see the chamar of your enemy collapsing under its load, v'chadalta meyazev loi, what, you're not going to help him? Azav tazav imai, help him. The obvious question when we read the pasuk is, why did Hashem say the tmiyah, the wonder? What, you're not going to help him? Why talk that way? It's a funny way of talking. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. If you see the chamar of my enemy collapsing, help him. It's even funny, once you learn the Gemara in Brachas, the Gemara in Psachim, that it's going on a guy, it's a mitzvah to hate. So what's Hashem saying? You're not going to help him? Have a good tzad not to help him. It's a ganz good tzad not to help him. Such a funny pasuk. If you see the chamar of your enemy collapsing, the Gemara tells us, Chika, your enemy means a guy, it's a mitzvah to hate, you're sainei, you hate him. It's going guy, it's a mitzvah to hate, the Gemara in Psachim. So if you see the chamor of a guy, it's a mitzvah to hate, you're not going to help him? You're crazy? Help him out. It's not so crazy not to help him, have a mitzvah to hate him. It's doch a chiddush to help him. So why does Hashem speak that way? You're not going to help him? You're kidding me? Chadalta meyazav? Are you kidding me? I always think how connected the Yid and Torah are. Chazal tell us Yisrael v'Yirei Sachadu. Yidden and the Torah are one. We're like so locked in. I always think by a Yid, it's like no tzad not to help. I used to watch. I had a neighbor when I lived on Euclid. I had a neighbor who was a guy. Till Akiva, till a tzaddik moved next door. Yitzhak Benowitz's cousin moved next door, a big tzaddik. So I had goyim next door. And I was bringing in packages. Sometimes there were a lot of packages I was bringing in. They never would help. They were like able-bodied men on the porch. If they were carrying stuff, of course I help. It's like pashut, you see somebody else help. It's very pshutim. They're always like YouTubers who try shtick, where they sit on the floor in front of, guys have showed me YouTubers sitting on a guy makes believe he's a cripple. And he's trying to get up, and they have videos, nobody helps him. And the first guy who helps him, like they give a prize to them. Shiki, you ever tried such a thing? You stand in a busy place, a guy has like 2 crutches, as if you're a cripple, and you can't get up. People do this in crowded places. Hundreds of people pass by. Any Yid, it's not of course you help. It's not a chiddush. You're not. If you did this in front of any from place, go in front, chas v'shalom, a guy like pretends, try it in front of Landau's. Your guy on the floor, you're trying to get up, the first person helps you. There's no, it would be a mud in the barrier, to the point the Bacher showed me this thing a YouTuber did. It's embarrassing on the YouTube. You have classy, dignified people, walking by. They ignore. They see a guy trying to get up. It's like, no, people look at him and turn away, and you see their faces on the video. But a lot of people, it's like a chiddush. They'll have a clock after like 5-10 minutes. Like one person, like is azah chasidi u'misaylum. By a yid, are you crazy? You're not going to help. It doesn't just say help. It's like dvarim pshutim. So Yisrael v'Raisa Chadu, who we are is it's not just we help. It's like pashut. It's nishkin chiddush. You're not even like, whoa, I'm such a tzayir. Really? You serious? Like pashut. When I was in elementary school, somebody who worked in elementary school would put down some big piece of dirt in front, like a big thing. See which bacher picks it up and who doesn't. To me, it's like Pasha Yid assists, like a basic, not an OCD, as that's Pasha Yid helps. A Yid sees another did that. So it's interesting, the way Hashem wrote this pasuk doesn't just say, Azev Tazevim, I help him. It says, V'chadalta me'azev lo, you're not going to help? Really? You serious? Now it's funny here, because going on a Russia, it's going on a guy, it's a mitzvah to hate. To then tell me, are you crazy? I'm not so crazy. I need the chiddush of the pasuk. I thought I'm supposed to hate him. 1 second you tell me it's a mitzvah to hate him. And then you tell me, what's with you? You're not going to... What's with me? You told me to hate him. It's a funny zach. So you could say what I said yesterday, Yitzchak. You don't hate him, you're crazy. You love, like the Rabbi Cordova, of course you'll love every Yid. You don't like what he's doing, but it's meshuggah not to help him. What do you think it has to help it? You're not going to help a Yid, are you out of your mind? Yeah, what are you thinking? That's how the pasuk's written. What in the world are you talking about? A guy, it's a mitzvah to hate. Doesn't mean that. So one thing I know in the Torah doesn't mean, if it meant straight up to hate him, this pasuk makes no sense. Clearly this hate means I don't like what he's doing, Shimon. If it meant it's a mitzvah. Now, Rashi brings on this, so you're not going to help him. So Rashi says as follows. Midrashay kach darsh Rabbi Seinu. The Rabbi Seinu darshan, ki sira, if you see it, v'chadal to pamim sh'ata chaydal. Sometimes you shouldn't help him. There is a time. They don't read it, v'chadal to me'azav, you're not going to help him. They read it, v'chadal to me'azav, don't help him. When shouldn't you help him? Zakein ve'en lefi kfaydai. If it's beneath your dignity, then don't help him. I once saw a pshat, chevra. Chazal darshan, if you see Chamar Serach, don't help him. Azev Tazavima, yes, help him. Pace it. Should I not help him? Well, yes, help him. The answer, if it's beneath your dignity, don't help him. If it's not beneath your dignity, help him. If you're like a zaken, it's inappropriate to help him, then don't help him. So you read the pasuk, one of two endings. If you see the Chamar of your enemy lying under a load, you're not gonna help him. If it's in your dignity, do help him if it's within your dignity. Now, I once saw a pshat Shimon that I like a lot. So what's the pasuk doing? They're like two endings. You know what? I used to read these books and you choose the ending of the book. You guys remember that? These funny books? Goosebumps, they have these funny books. You choose what you want to go to next page. So here's like, if you see the chamar of your enemy, either the chadal me'azav lay, don't help him, or azev tazavim, I help him. If it's not lefi kfay, they don't help him. If it's in your honor, yes, help him. Which one? Shims, I once saw a pshat that it means you're not going to help him. Shloim, I once saw a pshat that it means betmiya. But if it's, you're not going to help him. If it's not lefi kfaytcha, it's not a tmiya. You only have to help him in as much as you're crazy for not helping him. If there's a good svara not to help him, so it's not crazy. So the Torah is saying, you're not going to help him out. If you have any svara that it's not mishugas, then you don't have to help him. By ein lefi kfayda, it's not mishuga. But what comes out, what Chazal say, if it's beneath your dignity, then you don't help him out. Your own kavod comes before a mitzvah, which is really a remarkable thing, Pace. What it says here in Chazal, and this is the halach by Hashavas Aved also. If a person's a dignified scholar, and in the street there's a pair of sacks, it's ein lefi kfayda to pick up the sacks. The halach is he doesn't do Hashavas Aveda, which is rather remarkable that the dignity of a person comes before a mitzvah. That's like wild. The Chavas Yair asked the following kasha, Chevra. Here the Torah says that a person's dignity takes precedent over a mitzvah, which is good. We're born for mitzvahs. But if it ever hurts a person's dignity, then he doesn't do the mitzvah. It's amazing. It's not lefi kvaitcha.
Of a 60 or 65 plus year old man who's able-bodied and capable, why would it hurt his dignity?
It's funny what the case is. Socks would be a case. He's carrying like an undershirt in the street of socks. If it's not appropriate, it's not the type of thing, it's beneath his dignity. I hear by the Chamor what the case would be. Maybe a certain type of elderly man is 75. He's like schlepping pack. Somehow it's beneath his dignity. Again, I don't have the exact scenario. So then, ein lefi kvaide doesn't do it. Frek the Chavas Yair, Rabbi say, it says that preparing for Shabbos, it's a din in Shulchan Aruch that everybody should do tasks l'kavod Shabbos on Friday, whether it's mopping, whether it's cooking, everybody. And the Shulchan Aruch, if Yosef Cairo brings, you're not allowed to say lo efkaim b'chvaydi. I don't want to hurt my dignity. You're not allowed to say it's beneath your dignity. It's usser. It's an open din in Shulchan Aruch. Frek the Chavas Yair, it's a stira. Here it says if it's beneath your dignity, Hashavas Aveda. If it's beneath your dignity, unloading the donkey, so then don't hurt your dignity. Kavod Adam comes before the mitzvah. Preparing for Shabbos Kodesh, it says if it's beneath your dignity, it's usher to say lo yafkam b'chvaydi, you have to do it. What's the difference, Mayor? You have the stira we're asking, Mayor? For work for Shabbos Kodesh, it's open in Shulchan Aruch, you're not allowed to say it's beneath my dignity. And yet here for Hashavas Aveda, for Prika, for unloading an animal pace, if it's beneath your dignity, you don't do it. What's the difference, Aryeh? If Hashavas Aveda, you find socks in the street, and the guy's a 70-year-old man, it's not appropriate he carries socks, he's patur from Hashavas Aveda. Chadalta as of there, he doesn't help out. But preparing for Shabbos Kodesh, Erev Shabbos, it's open in Shulchan Aruch, even if it's beneath your dignity. Chas v'shalom to say it's lo efkaim b'chvaydi, you should do it. What's the difference, Yitzchak? Says the Chavas Yair, when somebody knows you're doing the mitzvah, never puts down your dignity. If they know you're doing the mitzvah, that's the biggest kavod. You're serving Hashem. If a guy drives a Chaim Kanievsky around, it's not like a lowering of his dignity. The more you lower the dignity, the more impressive you are. So by kavod Shabbos, a guy works Erev Shabbos, everybody knows why you're doing it. There's no mystery. A guy's doing sponge Erev Shabbos. There's no world that's beneath his dignity. So you're not allowed to say. But if you're holding socks in the street, nobody knows you're doing Hashavas Aveda. People see a man running with socks. So there it objectively hurts his kavod, so you don't do it. If people know that you're doing the mitzvah, so then it doesn't hurt your kavod. Shem says, why don't you have a big sign? I am doing Hashavas Aveda. Could be a guy will be at an angle, he doesn't read your sign, a guy's at far distance. There's no eichatimsa. Returning socks, there's nothing about this pula that says you're doing Hashavas Aveda. So then you don't hurt your kavod, you don't do it. It's rather remarkable if you understand we're born for mitzvahs. We're born for mitzvahs. There's only one thing in halacha that has a higher level than mitzvahs, kavod of a person. Kavod of your person, you don't do it. Aloisa say, even if it hurts your dignity. I had a mice and my tzitzis became puzzle in front of people. You got to take off your tzitzis. You got to do it. It's very embarrassing. Even though it's embarrassing to your kavod, your mom is getting undressed in public. You got to take it off instantly. I recently had a mice. I was in a very public place, and my tzitzis became ripped. They get caught in a chair, and I walked away, and two of them got pulled. If two of the strings come off, you got to take it off. And there, you don't say it's against my kavod, because wearing a beged beli is like bekumva say being over. You got to take it off.
Wow.
But if it's here where it's doing a mitzvah, the act that you're just not doing, kavod abrius comes first. Amazingly, the dignity of a person has such a strong place in Yiddishkeit. If a guy has a mitzvah daraisa, Hashavas Aveda, a beautiful mitzvah, but if his dignity is going to be hurt, he doesn't do Hashavas Aveda. It's not dignified. It doesn't do Hashavas Aveda amazingly. Really amazing. The preparation for Shabbos you do even if it hurts your dignity, because those that understand hold, everybody knows you do a mitzvah that's good for your dignity. That actually is a pump up. I'm serving Hashem. There's no lowering in dignity then. That's, huh? It's very clear. Yeah. If it's nicker, you're doing it like preparation for Shabbos. Everybody in the world knows a guy doing sponge Erev Shabbos, why he's doing it. Everybody knows. Big tzaddikim, I know tzaddikim who wouldn't shop all week. We wouldn't understand this as Americans. In Europe, for a man to shop was like beneath his dignity. In Europe. I'm afraid to say this recorded. People in America get upset. Well, only the wife should shop. There were things in Europe, the different cultures with different things. There were tzaddikim who wouldn't shop all week. Erev Shabbos, they would shop for Shabbos. The guy doesn't shop all week, it's beneath his dignity, but everybody knows he's doing Mekavet Shabbos. So then that's a raise in his dignity. That's a tremendous raise in his dignity. And of course, such a person, I don't know why I'm saying this, Mai says no shy, because I'm thinking shopping Erev Shabbos. My Rebbe was close to a Yid that my Rebbe said on him, it was the Lamed Vav Tzadik. He was a beautiful Yid, used to learn in Yeshiva at nights, and my Rebbe told us after he departed, he wrote an article about him that he was one of the Lamed Vav Tzadikim. He was a very holy person. He was a second grade teacher. He was a very holy person. When he was sick at the end of his life, my Rebbe was so careful who davened for the Amud in Yeshiva. He davened Yom Nairam for the Amud, the Tzaddik. I remember I have a picture in my mind of the Yid. And this Yid, his family said after his Patira, Friday, he would shop every week for Shabbos, but they all would make fun of him. It took him so long. He would shop so they called him like names, like Slowpoke. They said like he shopped. They thought he was a slow shopper. They only found out after his Patira that he was shopping every Friday for his family and for an almana. Every Erev, he never told anybody. It just took him double long. He was shopping for his own family and almana. He brought it over. He never told for a long extended period. Kenzain even years. He never told anybody. So he always shopped. It took a long time. He was shopping at least for one almana. But nonetheless, when it's nicker, it's lekavod Shabbos. It's not called a breach in dignity. When it's not, it's a breach in dignity. What does come out remarkably is the importance of the dignity of a yid. Kavod abrius is huge. It's very high up. When anybody learns Torah, one of the main reasons we learn Yitzchak, if I have to say, when I was a kid, my father would be frustrated if I didn't know what was the Raisa, what was the Rabbanan, and what was a Minhag. He used to also, when you're little, you don't know what's a Rishon and Achron. I would say, my Rebbe and the Rashba have a Machlokes. I was a young kid, I didn't know that. So I thought my Rebbe could argue the Rashi. It wasn't what was happening. My Rebbe probably was saying, Lefi, the Ritva. You're just starting to learn Gemara. I remember my father teaching me their rules, their Rishonim, their Achronim, who could argue on what. One of the main things we learn in Torah is what is what value. Everybody in Yeshiva, they played The Price is Right 2 nights ago. Our whole life is one big Price is Right game. You're putting values on everything. That's what you do. When you have a family, what you're doing with your kids, all of life is ascribing values. In matter of fact, the main challenges of life, when you're a youngster, you think the battle of life is between good and bad. The rave or the Shabbos party, that's like a very coarse person. As you grow, the real battle of life is the chasna or a night seder. Is my kid's homework, or do I go to that Baal Tshuva, that person who needs chizuk, bar mitzvah? The big battles of life is what has what value. Who comes first, my brother or my neighbor? I have $100 stuck to give. Should I give to this yeshiva or that yeshiva? One of the main stories of our life is subscribing value. What is what value? A guy in yeshiva once came to a lot of money after he's married, and he asked me if we could learn Hilchas Tzedakah together. When I was learning with him, I was thinking a lot about this, and it's very complex. Even after you learn all the halachas, it's really not simple. And really, a lot comes out is you really decide yourself. People have attractions to different. There are some rules, who comes first, but there's also a what excites you. Different people are built different ways. A lot's totally on your Torah, by the way. You learn Torah, you get a sense, priority, importance, what's worth what. And a lot of learning Torah is finding out values of things. And everything's chashuv. A basketball game is crazy chashuv. Two yidden, abandoning. There's nothing, everything in this world. People knock things. There's nothing in this world that's not chashuv. It's a big mistake to knock stuff. A basketball game could be eternal. Hashem made a world, Meloich al Aretz K'vaydai. It's a world tennis, a father and son playing tennis, two friends playing tennis, a yid playing tennis and enjoying Hashem's world. Don't put anything down in this earth, anything. It's like very silly to knock. It's a world full of chashva things. There's nothing. Reb Matisyahu Salomon once spoke to a bunch, he called an emergency meeting, all mashkichim in America. He wanted to meet. I have friends who went to this meeting, and he said there's too much bittul. Stop putting things down. Stop. Don't put things down. It's a big mistake. I told the chevra, somebody came to a shul and knocked baseball, and a guy came to the Rav. The Rav was from Eretz Yisrael, and a guy in the shul said, me and my father had a generation gap. I couldn't be so close, and the only way I connected is he took me to baseball games. And the Rav at Tzaddik apologized and went to a baseball game with this man. The Rav wasn't a sports guy, he's from Eretz Yisrael. It's a big mistake to knock things. You just have to know what comes what has what value, what comes when comes what. Things are worth. It's a beautiful world of value, just when and where and how much. A lot of learning Torah is this sugya of Kedima. So it's when you learn a sugya, the mitzvah, well, like mitzvahs trump everything. A mitzvah, the tzivui Hashem, covet of a yid comes often before a mitzvah. It's amazing. If it's going to hurt a yid's dignity, don't do the mitzvah. It's rather just wear the covet of a yid, the dignity, covet abrius, to respect somebody, to make sure somebody remains dignified is huge. It's funny, we're running today this cute Mr. Beast game. The care, Maishi and I were talking, Maishi's idea to run it, and he's working his head off. He could have done things, anything that makes a yid like shamed, don't go near it. Don't go, covet of a yid is like very high up in Yiddishkeit. Somebody who's mechabed yidden is a big zach, the covet of yidden. In our world order, the covet of, obviously this year I'm thinking about my father a lot, and I think a lot about values, that he gave me values. I've spoken here about singers, how a singer or somebody funny was valued. That's like the biggest thing we learn. We're all playing the game of the price. It's not a game. But look, we literally play. We live the price is right. You put values to things. You set up values. By the way, kifi, the value is your schar, lefum tzara agra. According to the pain is the reward. Another way of wording that is if you're subscribing a certain value to something, that's the schar you get. We subscribe values to things. It's a big thing. It's an important thing. But one day you have a mishpacha, you're literally training your kids, you're teaching your own children, learn from you what's worth what comes first. And they learn it all different ways. Because our life puts values on things. So here, to learn that a mitzvah is everything. I picture the son, to my father, a mitzvah was very serious about mitzvahs. Very, very serious about mitzvahs. In Sulam, I'll tell you something interesting. In Sulam, so I give out, before Kabbalah Shabbos, I give out. Rav Aryeh's pictures, I give out. Before Kabbalah Shabbos, here we give out the grape juices. In Sulam, we give out pictures. My father pulled me aside, and he said, Daniel, I like I like all the games, and he complimented a lot. He loved giving out to guys and rewarding. But he said, maybe don't do it before Kiddush. We have a mitzvah of Kiddush. I want to get to Kiddush. He didn't mind the time he was enjoying. He told me he enjoyed the giving out. He said, maybe giving out. We have a mitzvah of Kiddush. I was so moved. Now, I have a cheshbon. We do it before. I want to bring more guys to Kiddush. And there's an avodah to get to Kiddush. So there's a cheshbon. But I was tremendously moved by a yid. He lived like this. A mitzvah was very serious. Thinking about a mitzvah, getting to a mitzvah. So that was a big lesson. Now, somebody who values mitzvah space, and you learn what a mitzvah born for them, then he says beneath the yid's dignity. He's not doing it. That's amazing, because the covet of a yid trumps a mitzvah. So I did want to share that with the chevra. I did want to, that's the first thing. I wanted to study another Rashi for a few minutes with the chevra. It says, Im kesef talves ami. Now, im here is an unusual im, because Rabbi Yishmael says, every im in the Torah is a rishus. Normally, when it says im, it's optional, if you want. Chutz mi gimel, except for 3 of them, this is one of them. Im kesef talves ami means, even though it says if you lend, but it's a chiyuv. A person's mechuyev to lend. Why Hashem? Every im in the Torah is rishus, if, it's optional. Chutz mi gimel, 3 times in the Torah, it says im, and it's a chiyuv. This is one of them. You're mechuyev to lend. Then it says, es ha'ani imach. The ani, lend to an ani, the ani with you. What does that mean, the ani with you? So listen to Rashi. Es ha'ani imach, the ani with you, have a mistakel ba'atzcha kilu ata ani. Look at yourself that you're an ani. If you lend an ani, es ha'ani imach, the ani with you, look at yourself as if you're an ani. Yisrael and I were talking about this yesterday. We were talking, it touched this thing. If you lend, you have a chiyuv to lend an ani, to look at yourself as if you're the ani. What is that saying to you? I hear 2 things in this Sanochen. What's this saying? Lend an ani, and histakel batzcha. Rashi brings from Chazal, ani imach. The ani with you, histakel ba'atzmcha kiluata ani. Look at yourself as if you're an ani. I want to share 2 things with the Chevra Pace about Chesed. Both are very precious to me. Akiva, what does this mean? Look at yourself as if you're an ani. What's the chiyuv here? Let's practical. I'm giving to an ani. Look at yourself as if you're an ani. Yaakov, there are 2 things I hear in this. What do you hear in this, Yaakov? A poor man. So the Torah says you're mechuyev to lend to a poor man. It's a chiyuv. A poor man comes to borrow, you're obligated to lend him. And then it says, "As ani imach, the ani with you." Look at yourself; he's with you. You're also an ani. What's that? You're also a poor man. What's that saying? What's that obligation? I'm lending the poor man, and you're also obligated to see yourself as a poor man. What does that mean, Yak? What's the obligation? What is that saying to you?
Of course, you should give to him. He's one of the same.
Makes it obvious. He's relatable. It's not like, oh, an ani. You relate. It's relatable. You could feel him too. There was a line from Winston Churchill when he saw a lame guy, he passed by. He said, "But for the grace of God, there goes I." That could be me too. Yaakov said you relate to him.
Lame guy means what?
What?
What does a lame guy mean?
He was like, one of his legs didn't work. He said, "But for the grace of God, without the chesed Hashem, that would be me. I'm him. Not I see him, I relate to him." So that Yaakov says it causes you to give. I feel him. That's what Yaakov says. Histakel ba'atzcha, look at yourself, kiluat ani. You could relate to that. What do you say, Shlomo? What's saying here?
I would just be nervous you wouldn't be able to do that. So I was thinking, like, anytime someone lends me something, right now I have the ability to give back. And who's giving me the ability to give back? So in my head, that was just in my head. I wasn't like thinking that.
Shlomo's troubled the chiyuv to lend to an ani who said he'll have the money to pay you back. It says in Kesef to lend an ani a chiyuv. Why are you confident to be able to give back? What's this chiyuv? You mechuyev?
It's just like I'm getting given.
I want to say 2 things to the Chevra. Yaakov, I like what you said a lot. I want to say that people give to somebody else often. The giving itself embarrasses the person, shames the person. You're like the successful nebuch, tiyena nebuch. The looking at yourself as an ani, I'm no better than him. By the way, maybe Hashem even put the money by me to give to him. I'm not to see yourself. Don't try not to see yourself as bigger and better. People often view this never like what you can't get a job. He can't. He's you. Look at yourself and Hashem gave you a bracha. It's not but for the chesed Hashem. I think there's an aspect, Yaakov, in giving to another that you don't put him down. He doesn't feel like an inferior. Look at yourself. You're an ani also. I'm not in a different group than you. Hashem blessed me. Baruch Hashem. Here, let me, and maybe even put it by me. The Chayvus Halvavas sounds like Hashem puts money by one guy because he wants it to go to the other guy. So I'm not better than you. There's a way of giving that somebody feels very low when you give to them. You mamish made them feel like lesser. And look at yourself. You're an ani also. Say, ani mach, he's what you. He's the same class. Look at yourself as if you're an ani too. The only thing is, so why didn't Hashem say, look at him as he's an Ashir? I guess it didn't say that because he isn't Ani, he needs it. Just don't view, you're the Ashir, help the Ani. Ich bin an Ani also. Punkt, today you need it. Maybe tomorrow I'll need it and you'll give me. I'm no different than... What? For sure. It says Rabbi was Mechabres Hashem, for sure.
Why deserving more respect? Why single out an usher deserving more respect versus
No, I'm just saying the point of not lowering him says see yourself as an ani also. I was just saying, why didn't Hashem word it, see him as an ashir? I guess it didn't say that he is an ani, that's why you're giving him. So you're seeing an ani, see yourself as an ani too. There could be a day I would need to. I'm not like the have and the have-nots. See yourself as an ani also. Punkt I have. I could have not. I could.
Why should Rabbi teach that an usher deserves respect? He doesn't. Why does he just?
Well, that's that Rashi says the respect in usher. Somebody who gives gets respected for giving. There's a specific thing about somebody who's supporting and taking care. Shlomo, is that the pshat that it's saying here? You like what?
I said I like that.
That what? To say it again.
If you're giving, if you're willing to give that to him,
Oh, see yourself as an ani. Shlomo saying, brilliant. When you ask for a loan, you have confidence in yourself. You could say back. That's what you're saying, Shlomo?
I think so.
I have confidence in me that I could pay back.
where's that confidence coming
Shlomo's saying brilliant. He's saying brilliant. What's the hardship of lending an ani? Is who said he'll have the money to pay me back? So he said, see yourself as an ani. If you're the ani on yourself, you'd have comment. Give me, I'll be able to pay you back. So see yourself as an ani.
What's giving you the resource to give him also? I mean, just like I have the confidence in myself. Where's that coming from? Everything already came from something else.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But I'm an usher. He's not here, an ani too. Both you have. So he'll have tomorrow also. Shlomo says, if you see yourself, what do you hold Dovi of Shlomo? If you see yourself as an usher and the ani, it's not a smart idea to lend to the ani club. That's not a great investment. Shlomo says, see yourself as an ani. Why do you have? Because of Hashem. So like
in the moment also. It's not like this is like in that moment when you're lending it, or view yourself like this. Like is it like a where is it?
This will give you the kayak to lend him. Otherwise, so it's funny. Shlomo says it will give you the kayak and not to view where's he going to get the money to pay. Your ani also has money. So he could be an ani who will get money. That's Shlomo. Brilliant. Yankov brilliantly says that you relate to him. You see him as somebody relatable. Otherwise, you don't think you're also an ani relatable. The Mitler Rebbe, Yaakov, the Mitler Rebbe was famous, and anybody who came to him to discuss something, he saw it in himself also. I relate to that also. He said nobody ever came to him for something he didn't relate to. It wasn't like, whoa, I'm shocked at you. Anything challenge a guy said, he said, I can find that in me. So here, your usher ani is unrelatable? Fine. See yourself as an ani. You have an area, you're an ani also. It helps a lot. If the word is that you're more with him and nice say ba'il, but you say, I'm rich, how could I feel him? We all have areas where an ani and we're needed. You could be nice ba'il with that. Look at yourself as you're an ani. We have an area you could connect anias. A guy's very rich, in the base medrash, he needs help. Find the ani in you too. It's funny when the pasuk says, The pasuk says, "Istakel ba'atzma kiluat ani." Look at yourself as if you're an ani. What do you mean I'm not? Every single person Yitzchak could find an area that he's an ani too. You look at him; he's not. All of a sudden, the rich guy in the Beis Medrash is and a lot worse anias. Ein anias celibadas. So you have areas you need others too. And by the way, let's say you're rich and you're a Talmud Chacham. I can't relate to it. All of a sudden you go to the doctor and all of a sudden you have plenty of areas you're the ani to. I had a maisa that happened to me years ago. I was working in camp. It was before I was involved in this holy yeshiva. I was working in camp. And I brought a bacher that I was close to for an interview to a yeshiva, and we were very mistreated. And they told us we have tons of applicants, like you're just a pain in the neck. Like it was, I looked at it, there was a good deal to get the bacher. They literally told us we just have tons of applicants, we're so overwhelmed. Which basically said, we don't need you, like you're a pain, like you're just a pain to us. You're not a help at all. You're a pain. We have tons of applicants. I felt very mevoyish. We had traveled far for the interview. I was with the bacher. I looked at it. We're bringing. It was a good guy, Bedafka, a good boy. He didn't have a father in his life to bring. It was Bedafka. They were getting a good guy. But he for sure felt mevoyish. It wasn't even my kid, but I felt very like shamed, like a. We were there hours. We weren't looked at. We were shtickle pain in the neck. And I asked myself, why I have plenty of averas to go through something like that, but the guy went through worse. What happened? About a year later, I was zeichet to be involved in starting this masif, and people come for interviews. And I remember what it feels like. To me, it's important when somebody comes to an interview, I promise it's natural. You'll see when people come to you, the same for stock or other needs, you automatically get a certain gaiva. You have the goods and you need it. It creates like a gaiva. Somebody comes to, can I get into the yeshiva? You're like, so I have something you want. You feel very like powerful. And it was very good what happened. Because a few minutes ago, I was you trying. You're the same money. Stop being arrogant. You're him. You have this now and somebody else has something else. Stop being arrogant. And it's normal, much like the ani comes to the ashir for money, and the Torah says, see yourself as an ani like him. Stop being arrogant. You're him. Today you have, by the way, tomorrow you might, and by the way, there are 100 things you need other people. Don't become arrogant. See him and feel him. You're both people, you're both humans. See him and feel him. Don't be the guy, don't be arrogant on a person. It could create a tremendous gaiva when somebody needs something you have. We're mitzvah by Hashem. See yourself as you're an ani. And I see this in all the things, and we're capable of not being arrogant. We have to ask ourselves, and we have all different ways. You say, how could I look at myself as an ani? I'm not, I have money. What do you want from me? I'm rich. Your places you can connect to the ani. You have ani in you. The Beis Medrash, you're an ani. At the doctor's office, you're an ani. We all have plenty of places where the ani. So just see two aniyim. Tzazamen, two aniyim. When I picture two aniyim like going around, finding scraps, and we each help each other. Two aniyim. Two equals helping each other. I say over a story of one of the chevra, one of the beautiful chevra. I'm talking about Akiva. Akiva, this summer, you and Rav Geisler were looking for a soup together. Remember this? My wife and I were rolling. They were two good friends. Akiva and Rav Geisler, they were looking for soup. They were looking for soup. It was late one night. I think it was late at night. My wife and I were on a walk, and the two chavim were looking for soup. I felt like two equals looking for soup zusammen. You can help, you can mamish help an ani like that. With two guys, we both, I happen to have a soup, and tomorrow maybe you'll have the soup and I won't. But you're an usher. It's hard to look at that way, but you're not an usher everywhere, I promise. In the Beis Medrash, maybe you're not an usher when it comes to medicine. Nobody's an usher everywhere. So see yourself with two equals. Today I have a little bit money, I give you. Tomorrow you'll find a scrap, you'll give me something. That's the chiyuv, mamish. Histakil ba'atzma kiluat ani. Look at yourself that you're an ani too. There's not to put down, not a have and a have not a success and an inferior. Pace, it's possible we could behave like this. It's hard, it's instinctive. Whenever you have what somebody else wants, it's instinctive to have the upper hand and you could put a person down. It's not like that. Punktir, you also have, we both Ashirim. What were you saying, Shlomo?
I felt like in the shears itself, it's funny because you were on the shear all seeing unless it's like too hard to step out. Like when you made a lot of money, it's hard to step out.
I know. It's interesting to me, it doesn't say you're both Ashirim. Why did Hashem say, look at him, he's an Ashir? It says, look at you as an Ashir. I almost wonder that's impossible. I'm like giving him now. I can't do that. He's not Nishket Ashir. I'm trying to help him. I can't even look at him like that. The teretz that I could think about my needs. In this, I know you're doing better. You're doing better than me. Shlomo, I'm curious, Russ. How do you look at yourself as you're not Lamaisi? The guy's a Festa bank account. So Shlomo says in that things are volatile. I say you have an area you're an ani. You say even in this. I say in plenty of things you're an ani. All of a sudden you go to the base medrash, you're an ani. All of a sudden you go to the doctor's office, you're the biggest ani. You need help. Shlomo says even in the money you could view. Could it be Yehuda? That's why it didn't say look at him, he's rich. That's impossible. I'm taking, and I really shouldn't even do that. He needs my help. He's doch an ani. You're also an ani. You're a guy who doesn't need from anything. Chizuk, you're an ani, and chizuk, you're an ani in a zillion ways.
How do you think of him as someone that's going to help you out also? He's not going to help you out at all.
I don't say him. I'm not an ani. I need help from people. The same like him, we're all aniyim. He needs help in this way. I need help in 10 other ways. To Zelbani, I wonder. I don't know. I don't own the pshadi. I wonder that. Pace, is that like an attitude to have?
You should expect things back.
What is? No, I'm not to expect from him. I'm to an attitude. He's not a lower class person. He's an ani. I'm also an ani. I have tons of areas I'm an ani in. I have my areas. So in money I have. In 10 other areas I'm an ani also. In base medrash I'm not an ani. I need somebody to teach me pshat. Elamai, I'm good at there, so I need a doctor. I need medical help. I need chizuk. What do you say, Rebezi? This is.
I'm not sure where Rabbi's going. That's not what you're asking, was it? That's amazing, very good. So what word is Rabbi explaining?
Histakel, this one, look at yourself, kiluat the ani.
No, what word in the Torah is Rashi?
Esa ani imach.
Let's
The ani
go.
with you. Look
Let's
at yourself.
Imach.
Right, Russ, how do you see this?
We're learning a word in the Torah right now. Right?
What? Yeah. Yeah, what does that mean? I'm not an ani. I'm trying to figure out Chazal, Rabbi say. Look at yourself as if you're an ani, but I'm not.
Maybe ask him for advice.
What? So you're saying like Shlomo, right? Russ says like you. Right? Russ looks at it, you don't really deserve it. You know, like you're not the Ashir club. Shlomo says things like I could lose it tomorrow. I got it from Hashem. I was gifted. It's not intrinsic. What? Yeah, that's what I'm struggling. I am an usher. I do have the money. It's not intrinsic. Punct. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm looking to other areas. You're saying even here, Kalish. Why do I have to go to other areas? Somehow it helps. It helps. Maybe even helps come to what you're saying. That helps give the humility. Yeah. I like better what they're saying. You're allowed to, I like better what Shlomo and Rabbi Russ are saying. You don't need to go to other areas. In this area itself, stop thinking. This is a struggle pace. Guy comes to the rich guy, he's the usher and the ani. If you stop viewing it that way. How? Because you're not be'etzem, you got a gift from Hashem. Like it's not so intrinsic.
You sing very good.
Shlomo learns in this area alone I could do it. And I gave a trick to see yourself the areas you're an ani. We all have areas we're an ani in. We're all poor in something. Not see him as a different class of person. The needy, I'm needy. The base. Yeah, it's not so different. I've seen, Yaakov, I talk about this Chazal, I've seen givers with a lot of arrogance and hurt people who are receiving, and it's felt you're a lower class, and we've all seen giving in tremendous humble ways. I love that the word for all this is imach, with you. That he's an equal, Imach, esa'ani imach. All the lessons of kindness. A midah of Yidden is we're goyim lechasadim avi, we're generous, but we have a brand of chesed. I have seen chesed that hurts people, that puts people down. I've seen it. I would actually say the brand of chesed of a Yid. We say Hashem is goyim el chasadim toivim, good kindnesses. What do you see, Pace? There's something called bad kindnesses. What's bad chesed?
Bad chesed?
Hashem's goyim el chasadim toivim, bestows good kindnesses. Okay. Yankov, what's a bad kindness? I think a kindness that makes the person feel low and inferior, a nebuch. Like you help the nebuch, I think your chesed literally hurts the guy. Yeah. And if you're the have and he's the have not, you could literally hurt. Our chesed is as ani imach, the ani with you. You see yourself as nani also. I'm no better than you. I'm no better than you. I'm also nani. Now Shlomo and Raira said, because you see in your money a kindness of Hashem. It's not intrinsic to me. I'm saying that you think about the areas that you're a nani. We're all a nani in many places.
Why would you
I'm not getting this is ultimate chesed. Remember, you're not allowed to get ribbis back. You literally at some you don't have the money. You lose money whenever you lend. You literally lose money. Yeah, money. You literally when you lend, you literally lose.
What?
You lose when you lend because money makes money. You don't have that money to make money. You literally lose money when you lend.
Money makes money?
Sure. That too.
Can we talk about this another later? Because I have like $20 in my pocket.
Do you have a reason? This week's Parashat Akiva, for a long time I pondered this question. Does anybody here have a reason why ribbis is usher? Am I allowed to rent you a table for a week? Am I allowed to rent you a table for a week? I own a table. Can I rent it to you? Yes. Could I rent you my car? Yes. Could I rent you my suit? Yes. I could rent. Why can't I rent you my money? Ribbis is a pellet to me, right, Levi? That you can't rent money. Why not? I can rent every single thing I own. If I rent you my money, I'm over in Issa Daraisa. Israel Meir, for a long time, it bothered me. You can rent anything to people. We once had a fight here. I had an answer, and Bachram didn't agree with me, and today I think they might be right. I'm going to tell you what guys said. They might be right, Levi. This is good for the English, for the afternoon, very stark. I asked, you could rent anything in the world, and I can't rent my money. What's the logic? Have you ever wondered this? A table I have, rent it to you. A car I have, rent it to you. A suit I have, rent it to you. I have money, I can't rent it to you. I rent it to you, I'm over in a Sidaraisa. Kiva, you ever had a pshat why you can't rent somebody money? It's a pella. I'll give you the money for a month and pay me rent for it. It's like logical. And I can make money. I lose. When you lend money, you lose. So you give me back the same money I lost for a month. I didn't have that money. That money makes money. And yet, if I charge you for the time you have the money, rent literally, you can rent my suit, rent my coat, and I'll rent you my money. Pay for a month's rent. That's called ribbis, isser daraisa. Arya, you ever had a pshat in it? So Pace, you ever had a pshat in this? Ask anybody you know and love, why can't you rent money? That's ribbis, isser daraisa. It's a pella. So I had a sad pace, and guys in yeshiva didn't like it, and they're probably right. I said that typically when a guy borrows money, he's desperate. When a guy borrows a table, he's not desperate, he just doesn't have a table. When a guy borrows a car, he just doesn't have a car. It's not desperation. Borrowing money typically, you could argue on this, but it's not always. But I said typically a guy's desperate, he's borrowing money. That's why he's borrowing money. Now, even that you could argue on. Because plenty of people borrow money are not desperate, they want to invest more. But let's say typically desperate. So I wanted to claim that when a yid's desperate, you shouldn't be thinking about making cash. It's the wrong thought. So, guys, I'll tell you when I thought of this word. Years ago, how many years ago was Hurricane Sandy? So some Yidden, now there are two types of Yidden. People needed generators, the whole 5 towns and a lot of Brooklyn, people had no lights. How many years ago was Hurricane Sandy?
Maybe a little more.
About 15, 14 years ago? What? Little more than 12 years ago. Who remembers hands? Who remembers Hurricane Sandy? Avi, you remember? Wow, Chevy remembers. So generators were very, very expensive. Now, what year was it? 2012. A little more than 12 years ago. 12 and a half years ago. So Yisrael, there was some people that sold generators for like illegal prices. Stam, that's us, or that could be I know. But let's say a guy sold generators. Some guy, we had a whole fight in yeshiva. I thought it's sick that you don't make money when people are desperate. And other guys said that's business. Make good money. They said you're an idiot. That's how to make money, and you can be a kind person. That's how to make money, you idiot. But you only find people. If somebody needs it, the deeper the need, that's how you make money. So guys are like, if people need money, that you shouldn't be thinking. Of course, you're allowed. That's how to make money. You find what people need and you sell them. Just do fair prices. Could be the guy's all right. It could be the guy's all right. One of the regrets of I have plenty of things I regret in my life. I have a regret. One of my kids was younger and he wanted to make a lemonade stand, and I was embarrassed. I thought people. He's like, I told my kid, give out lemonade and I'll pay you for every cup. And of course he didn't want to do that, and it was like so stupid what I did. It was dumb. Of course I should let him make such a healthy thing. It's a good hot summer day. People need drinks. And first of all, people buy just to support him. So what? It was my own arrogance and pride. And my kid has a business mind. He's right. It's such a good idea. I stop. It's part of my tshuva. In Waterbury during the summer, there are lemonade stands. Whenever I see a lemonade stand, I try blined. I always buy from Yidden. The Yid has a lemonade stand. Which one of two of our guys just made a lemonade stand? Leo Pro did he didn't end up doing it? I would have bought if I saw his lemonade stand. I think that's so pure. My kid was so innocent, such a good idea. It's a nice hot day. I should have helped him, my own arrogance, and I should have helped him make a lemonade stand. Such a healthy, pure thing. So Avi, I thought that the Isser of Ribbis is if somebody's desperate for money, you shouldn't be thinking about making money at that moment. It's not the time and the place. Help a Yid out. Now's not the time to make money. It's shvach for 2 reasons. First of all, lending money often a Yid's not desperate. It's not so true. Usually people are desperate. I don't know if that's true. And second of all, the guy said back that you're not a normal capitalism. That's how to always make money. Find what people need. Don't be cheap. Don't be mean. And by the way, be a good mensch. You sell food. You shouldn't be thinking about if people need food. That's a healthy economy. People need food and you sell it. I say if people are too desperate that you shouldn't think to make money. I'm probably wrong. So then I don't know why Ribbis is usher. No, we were like stuck. I asked my tata, we were like handling in yeshiva. People just like, we're so used to Ribbis being usher. It's very strange. Could be what, right, Levi?
You don't use the money, meaning money you have to get an item. You need the item. You're never using the money. The table, you use the table. Money, I need a car. I need money to get a car. It's like a means.
But people invest money to make money.
It's nicer to invest
Money, typically, money always makes money. That's what money's, one of the purposes of money is to make money. The rich get richer. You buy and you have...
You make money by investing in things. You invest in things, you buy things, you sell
Right.
things. If you use the money just to make money off their money, it's not a misuse of it.
You don't invest in money.
Levi and Rasa saying to ever view money as a thing for itself, Hashem doesn't want. You're thinking too much about the money, not the thing. That's what he said, right? Russ, he also saying that the right.
Investing money is also investing in something, investing in product, investing in something.
Ultimately, I'm turning this money into money.
Because the business is going to grow, is going to be bigger, the products are going to sell, you're investing in something. You're not just using money to make money.
And that's
Don't sell dollar for $1.50. Like you're putting money into a business so that you can produce more products and make more money.
So Hashem never wants us to see money as like an end. It's only supposed to be a means. Somehow, if you lend it and get money back, you're turning it into a thing.
Why is that different from the light bulb? No one's so passionate about light bulbs. It's light bulbs because it makes money.
Right, that's yeah. I'm bothered. I'm not clear. What we say?
Just a response to the second issue, why I don't think that's just how capitalism works right now. I think we see from the mitzvah that we were discussing the other day of if you give a mashke to an ani, you have to give it back, right? So that's in that mitzvah doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? He owes me money, and this is my mashke. It's counterintuitive to give it back to him. But yet the Torah still says you have to have compassion. So just because, logically it makes sense.
Daniel says my pshat's right, that you don't capitalize on a guy needs money is not the time to think about business. It bothered me, by the way. This is one person. I wouldn't think you should sell what was the generators when people are lights out. To me, now you're thinking about business. To me, like, come on, now your chesed brain should go on. I don't think business. If you have a whole bunch of people starving, we'll say, "Hey, it's a great time to make money." Chesed brain belongs on that business brain. That's So that's the shayla.
I'm just saying there's makom.
Yeah, there's makom for that.
Upper guy are physically in charge of lending money on a higher pedestal than borrowing. Whenever you sell something, they're both equal. The guy can want to buy, and the richer the guy wants to sell. So the Torah is telling us that a malva can't pretend, you can't be like a malva, a lender. Being a lender is someone who's like putting himself covered, so just almost diminish that lending, and therefore make it as if you didn't lend it, you can't take rivers on it. So you take rivers on it is showing that I'm the lender. It's my money. So the Torah specifically by Allah.
Wow. He says everything you're renting, take money, says it's mine. The table's mine, so I could charge you for having it for the week. He said the money, the malva life, the whole din here is Hashem doesn't want you to show that it's yours. That's the whole din to the ani. Don't and charging for the week he has it is the bailus that it's yours. Hashem doesn't want that.
Money.
He said desperation, ashir ani. The typical loan is an ashir to an ani, and we don't want to say the money's the ashir. You're also an ani.
Well, if I don't have the table, all right, you have a table and it doesn't show.
Because you could rent it an ani to an ashir. There's no there's no vart not to show bailus.
You want a table?
I love him as he said it's not.
No.
Shlomo said it.
Read it.
Fantastic.
But it's still based off the fact that you assume someone who
Yeah,
wants
it would come out that case. Yeah, it would come out. We went so long, but mishpatim. Who can go fast through mishpatim? There's more to learn, but we'll stop here. We'll go fast through mishpatim. We'll stop here. Yashkayach Rabbi say.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Good times. Thank you, Pace. Interesting. You still.